Hi, I'm Kirstin Kelly. Thanks so much for watching my videos. If you'd like some extra help, jump into one of my free online training sessions. I teach you all of my secrets to find success, satisfaction in every ride, and to ditch that fear and learn joy in every ride. So click on the link in the description of this video to find out more information. So I'm going to teach you how to ride the walk to canter transition. Now, the thing you've got to remember is that if you walk along and the horse is long and strung out, then he's not going to do a good quality walk to canter. Think of a fizzy drink bottle, and when you shake it up, you create all of this tension which pops the cork off. Or a bottle of champagne, even better. So that's what you're trying to do with the horse. You're trying to create this energy so that when you apply the aids, he goes boing and pops up into the canter. If he's relaxed and a bit sloppy, he's not going to suddenly pick himself up and spring up in from walk to canter. He's going to go walk, trot, canter, and that's not what we're looking for. The benefits of riding a walk to canter is that it really helps the horse's first strides of canter be very quality and balanced and bouncy. So if you've got a horse that's a bit long and strung out, start practicing walk to canters, and it doesn't matter if they're not that sharp to begin with, because that will get better the more you practice it. And so those walk to canters, like let's figure out how we actually ask. So this is a little bit trickier. If you can get the timing right, you'll make sure that you get a correct lead every time. So as the outside horse's hind leg steps through, that's when we ask him to canter. So it is quite handy if you've got somebody watching, just to get them to say now, now, as the outside hind leg steps through. Because as the outside leg jumps forward, that's when we want the horse to spring forward and then canter onto the inside lead. Now, when you ask him, I want you to think long down through your inside leg so that you keep this weight down through the inside seat bone. You keep your inside leg at the girth, you slide your outside leg back, and you keep a little bit of flexion to the inside. Now remember, I do have a video on the difference between flexion and bend, because if you bend the horse like this and you bend the whole base of the neck, this shoulder is exposed and he's more likely to pop out through the shoulder and canter on the incorrect lead. So you want to keep his neck relatively centered with just flexion at the junction of his head and neck, so that way there his body is centered and straight with slight flexion to the inside. Now think about your timing, and as that outside leg comes through, then there's two different schools of thought. Most people put their leg back, and as that outside leg steps through, you give them a little tap with your outside leg. Some horses are a bit more sensitive and they swing their bottom when you do that. And so what I like to do as well is just think with your inside seat bone at that point that you roll it underneath you. So you think of that little bit of a roll your seat bone so it comes down along the saddle and then up through your hips, and that gets that nice little pop up into the canter. Now, the problems that you often see when you ask for walk to canter is, one, they will trot. That tells you that you don't have enough compression in the stride. So you need to create that little bit of a feeling in the walk that you feel like you're getting that little bit of a jog and that energy. And then that way you get a better spring. And always ask, walk canter, and do maybe 4 of them in a row, because then the horse will start to anticipate, which gives you that little bit more compression in the stride. Another one that I hear everyone always complaining and saying, oh, he's always hollow. So if you find that he sticks his head up, again, that can be a sign that you don't have the compression, but check to see what you're doing with your inside rein when you ask for canter. One of the worst habits that I see when people say, you know, ask for canter, is they lean forward. What does that do to your seat bones? If you put your hands under your seat bones and then you lean forward, they slide out behind you. Whereas what we want to do is tuck them underneath a little bit, which encourages the horse to step up into the canter. So as you're leaning forward, quite often what happens is you pull back with the inside rein. And of course, if you pull back with the rein, what do you expect the horse to do? He will stick his head up in the air and resist you. So remember that elastic floating feeling so that your hand is carried, and think again about the pressure release. If you don't know what I'm talking about, I have an amazing video on how to get your horse on the bit softly where I talk about pressure release. If you pull on the horse's mouth when you're trying to get him to go forward, he's going to resist. If you push him forward into the contact, he's going to propel forward and meet your hand. And that's what gives you the nice round, soft canter transition. The trick is in the timing. So as the outside hind leg steps through, that is the point when you ask him to canter, and that's going to help you get the correct lead. So I'm going to just show you now. So I want you to just really think about your seat bones and how they move when I say now. So his hind leg is stepping forward, now, 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 now. So that is the point when you ask him to canter. That's going to be a little bit trickier to feel, so it's always helpful to have somebody on the ground. So you stretch your inside leg nice and long because you want your inside seat bone to feel like it hangs down long, not that it slides to the outside of the saddle, because we want that outside hind leg to jump up and strike off. So it's really important that you're not slouching to the outside. Long through the inside leg, so the inside leg will press at the girth, the outside leg goes back behind the girth. You keep the horse slightly flexed to the inside, and remembering you keep him in the outside rein. You keep asking now for a little bit of compression, and on the moment when I say now, 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 when it feels right, you give him a little press with your inside leg at the girth, outside leg behind, and you think of this inside seat bone that you roll it underneath. So you kind of think canter with that inside seat bone. Okay, so in your own time, what stops the horse from hollowing? Compression. So I want you to create this walk that feels like he's about to jump out of his skin. Okay, so shorten the rein a little bit, push him so he feels really nice and collected and springy. And the first one's always probably the most average one. Okay, slide the outside leg back, and I will say to you at the timing, it's now, now, now. Now we're going to do the canter walk, so don't forget, think about bracing the obliques. A pulse on the outside rein prepares and collects. Ready, collect and walk. Hands carried, shorten the rein a fraction. If your hands are starting to fiddle, it's a sign your rein is too long. Prepare to canter, create the compression, outside leg comes now, now, now. Now, beautifully done, good boy. Pat him with your inside hand. So you could really see she had that beautiful engagement of the walk, and he just lightly sprung up through the shoulders. Prepare to walk, pulse on that outside rein to shorten him. So we'll need to do another video on canter walk by the look of that. We're not here to do that today, we're just going to do the walk to canter. Let's make a little turnaround to go in the other direction. We'll check to make sure that the other one is okay as well. So just to recap the aids, long through your inside seat bone, long through that inside leg, slide the outside leg back behind the girth, little tiny bit of flexion to the inside. The timing is now, 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 now. Yep, rubbish, wasn't it? Okay, go back to the walk. Why was it rubbish? Because it was too sleepy. In your prep, you didn't get that beautiful feeling of pushing the walk together. Remember, you got to have it feeling like it's about to jump up. Ready? It's now, 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 now. Good boy. He's weaker this way, isn't he? Yep. Okay, prepare to walk and walk. Third time lucky. You've got to make sure you get that compression. I still think the compression was nothing like you got on the other rein. That's better. Now, 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 Good boy, pat him. Beautiful strike off. Well done, Esme. Give him a big pat.